So then our last team to talk about is the Commanders, and they have the most potential to turn things around. Now, last year, obviously, they were 4-13. There was a period for the first half where Sam Howell was leading the league in passing and had moments where you're like, oh, is he good? And then the second half happened and he was a
Yeah.
nightmare. They have the second most cap space in the NFL with $91 million,
Okay.
and they had the second overall pick. So they might be having Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or Drake May fall into their lap at number two. What do you think the most important thing for the Commanders to do this offseason will be?
Change their name. Change your name and then also fix your locker room. We should not be a professional team that has a $1 billion owner in Josh Harris, who has connections to the likes of Bob Myers and Magic Johnson, have cold showers and sewage leaking into the locker room. And then on top of it, you look like a XFL team. Like, give me a break. Like, before you fix the entire culture left behind from one of the worst owners in the league, you have to fix your locker room. You have to fix the sewage. And then you also have to fix your uniforms. And then you can think of taking a quarterback and fixing the offense. But yeah, so for the Commanders, in all seriousness, you definitely have to rework your defensive line. You lost Josh Sweat, traded him away last year so he could get a bag with the Bears, trade away Chase Young there. And then so you need a pass rush now. So you probably go pass rush. And I like your running backs. For the most part, but definitely an offensive line. And then you need at least another wide receiver there if you're going to have a young quarterback. But I think if you're smart, you go with Jaden Daniels. But at worst, you get Drake May at number two there. And then you can start to rework the offensive line. And then in free agency, that's where you spend the big money on the defensive line. See if you can go get someone like a Khalil Mack or Christian Wilkins. But they won't want to go there if they're like, do I want to put on an XFL uniform, or do I want to go to Indianapolis and play with Anthony Richardson, go to Detroit with the best culture in the league and best coach to play for, or do I want to go to Houston with no state income tax where it's warm and we have the best young quarterback in the league? Not the XFL team.
Yeah, no. First things first, change their name. Their
Yeah.
Commanders. What was that? Who decided that name? Dan Snyder's out of the building. Rewrite history, change the name, most important thing. And then for them, they do have Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, underrated receiver. Jahan Dotson, solid receiver for him. So offensively, like you're talking about weapons wise, they do have some talent. Logan Thomas, he's a tight end. He plays football. He's fine. So I think for them, if they want to go out and get a tight end, they can. And then free agents that they'll need to sign. We got Curtis Samuel, who's gone. He's replaceable for sure.
Mhm.
Kendall Fuller, Logan Thomas, the QB, Jacoby Brissett. He'll probably be on the move, but not really anybody that you can really stand out to. If you want to re-sign Antonio Gibson, you can, but a
Mm.
lot of these guys you can definitely replace either in the draft or in free agency. Curtis Samuel, he'll probably go elsewhere. Kendall Fuller, maybe you consider re-signing, but overall, I think address a lot of these guys in the draft. I think you should go after Jaden Daniels at number two. And then honestly, yeah, just focus on the defense because they lost a lot of players there.
Yeah, and I think Dan Quinn, defensive head coach, is definitely going to want to focus on the defense there. So I don't have any like worries about them fixing the defensive line. They have been pretty good at drafting wide receivers over the past couple of years. So get another second, third round wide receiver there, and then potentially just save your assets, trade for someone like a Stephon Diggs, someone like a Brandon Ayuk who wants to go there, make their own name. But I think the future is definitely bright for the Commanders. Should be the dark horse favorites to win that division, especially you have the disaster of Sirianni needing a babysitter. You have Mike McCarthy. I mean, enough said there.
Self-explanatory.
And then Daniel Jones being the cancer that he is on the New York Giants organization there. So theoretically, you should win the division next year. And I will go optimistic. I will give you not quite at a 70%, but I'll go with a 69 just because it's a nice round number on both sides.